Hello everybody, this is Farmlandia99 and today I am seasoning my cast iron pots and my camera's not focusing. There it is, okay. I've already done these two skillets here. And all I'm doing is rubbing a very thin layer of vegetable oil on the pans. And what that does is what you have nowadays is you buy these pans, and they have this little, you buy these non-stick pans, and they work for maybe 6 months, and that's about it, and then they never work right ever again. What you get with cast iron is a naturally non-stick pot that will last you for potentially hundreds of years. These two skillets here are from the 2000s, so they're fairly newer, but this one here is from roughly the 1920s. I'm not actually positive on that, but this is a very old pot. It is a Wagner Sydney, and I can tell by the age of it because on the bottom of the pot, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Oh, here we go. It says Wagner Sydney. You see that, right? Now, in the newer Wagners, they say Wagner ware, and it's a single W to cover the two words. And so that tells me that this is from roughly the 1920s, if my research was correct, which it might not be. But anyway, so this is an old pot I found the other day. It was a rust bucket, and so were these two pans. I cleaned them up with a wire brush and a couple other tools. And now we're seasoning them so that we can use them. And what happens is you cover them in olive oil or any kind of vegetable oil, anything like that. And then you put them in the oven for about an hour to a half hour. It's preheating right now. But the oven will be at 450 degrees when we're done here. And then I'll put them in and they'll bake for about half hour to an hour, like I said. And then they'll be covered with a very thin coat of oil, and that is your non-stick coat, natural, on these pots and pans. And you do this about 3 or 4 times if it's bare metal, and eventually they'll turn black. Naturally, sometimes they'll be black, depending on if they've been seasoned before or the pre-seasoning, but sometimes people will have them sandblasted because they're so severely rusted. So they'll have them sandblasted to get the old rust off and everything, and some of the old seasoning. So this pot's been seasoned before, not by me, but in the past. These two have not, to my knowledge. And so yeah, we're doing the seasonings right now. They'll be used in the future, and these are just very much healthier than your average pot or pan that you buy at the store, because some of the pans that you buy at the store have this kind of coating. I don't know what it's called, but eventually it'll chip off, and it's actually cancer causing. So these are much healthier alternatives. The one downside is these are completely metal. So if you're cooking with these, you need to make sure that you have a glove of some sort to pick these up off the stove, because otherwise you're going to burn all the skin off your hand if you go to grab one of these. So one nice thing about the pots today is they have a plastic handle that doesn't necessarily get as hot as these do. So that's the most important thing to remember here. Some people think cast iron is high maintenance just because you do have to season them. But we think they're actually a way better alternative to some of the other pots and pans that you can buy. So ceramic works well too, obviously, but cast iron just has something about it that I really like. Also, you can pass these down for generations, and they'll work for a very long time. They're great pans to have, or pots, and yeah, they last for generations. So, like I said, this pot here is probably 1920s. I just got it, so obviously it wasn't passed down, but yeah, it's a nice pot to have. So anyway, just figured I'd do a short video on this. This was Farmlandia signing off. Bye-bye.